Roe v. Wade is one of the most well-known cases to ever come to the Supreme Court and has become monumental with women's rights regarding abortion and their health. This case ended up being brought to court by the defender Norma McCorvey, who was named Jan Doe for the case's sake. Doe had become pregnant with what would be her third child. Though she already had 2 previous children, she did not want this child. It was an unwanted pregnancy, therefore she opted to have an abortion. The issue, though, lies that Doe lives in the state of Texas, which abortion is illegal unless it is a life or death situation. Lawyer Sarah Weddington and Linda Coffey had found her while working on other cases that involved abortion and wanted to help her with her permission and file a lawsuit on behalf of Jan Doe. This lawsuit stated that the laws of abortion in Texas were unconstitutional and had no right to deprive women in their right of privacy in their body. The case was filed with the North District of Northern Texas against the state and the district attorney Henry Wade. After this case was reviewed, the state ruled in Roe's favor, and this caused a huge uproar between the state. The other parties appealed and led this case into be held in front of the Supreme Court. The 3-judge panel that sat for the Northern Texas State District consisted of Sarah Hughes, William McLean Jr., and Irvine Goldberg. This decision was unanimous and ruled that Texas law was not constitutional and that women should have the right to an abortion and they were not allowed to take their right away due to privacy. While this seemed like an easy victory for Doe, the war had just begun. The court had been declined to enforce the abortion law, and District Attorney Henry Wade stated that he would prosecute anyone who tried to get an abortion. Therefore, the court ruled that the law was not to be enforced. This resulted in abortion still being illegal in the state of Texas, and even though Doe had previously won the approval, with this ruling, she would have to carry the baby to full term and give birth, even though she did not want to. The Chief Justice for this case was Warren E. Burger. Burger appointed Potter Stewart and Justice Blackmun to see if the cases of Roe and Doe should be heard in court and brought to the attention. Doe was another case that was very close, similar to Roe's story regarding wanting an abortion, but due to the state that she lived in, it was illegal, and she could not obtain one unless it was a medical necessary. There had been cases that were brought to court regarding abortion, such as Doe versus Bolton and Younger versus Harris, but the case of Roe versus Wade was the case that would ultimately set in motion the fight to legalize abortion throughout the country and allow women to receive an abortion if that is what they deemed fit. Major questions that the courts needed to answer is pregnant women protected under the right of privacy? Also, what boundaries are going to be put in place when abortion becomes legal? After many years of debate on whether abortion should be legalized or not, on January 22nd in 1973, the Supreme Court ruled with a 7-2 decision that they were in fact in favor of Roe and that women should have the right to abortion if that is what they wanted. With that ruling, there would be stipulations put in place to prevent women going and just having abortion at any given time and not protecting the right of the fetus. With coming up with this set in place, this is called the trimester framework. This would show guidelines throughout the pregnancy on when an abortion was acceptable and when it was not. Not only protecting the women and their rights to an abortion, but also protecting the fetus that is alive. The first trimester was deemed the safest part of the pregnancy to abort, and women were not to be restricted from an abortion, but advised to seek it through a professional licensed physician. The second trimester, the health risk of the mother allowed the states to put the regulations on abortions that were tailored to women's health. Finally, the third trimester, abortion at this point was prohibited unless it was a medical necessary and became a life or death situation where the mother's life was in danger. The overturn of Roe v. Wade set the tone for women's health for many years to come and was a turning point in America. Legalizing abortion not only affected women's health, but insurances, HIPAA law, and the mental health decrease from women. This case also being the starting foundation to help over 30 other cases throughout the country that dealt with similar circumstances as Roe had, including abortion and how their states have was illegal to obtain an abortion. While the outcome of this case was a huge impact in the states for all women, these decisions produced a lot of uproar and became a huge controversial topic. It even caused a divide in the world. Somehow became a political issue for candidates who were either for or against abortion. Many believe abortion still should be illegal unless it provides a life or death situation in the mother, and then there's others who are for abortion and believe that women should have the right to abort at any time, under any circumstance, and no one has the right to tell them otherwise. This case was a start of something much larger, and is still today a huge topic and one that people are still fighting. There's not many things in the world that have continued to keep going, but abortion has seemed to be one of the biggest issues. There are so many people who are for abortion and so many people who are against abortion. It really was a turning point in America for not only women, but others in the rights. I mean, there's people who believe that they're killing an innocent human, and there should be stipulations of life or death. And then there's others who believe that it's not their choice. It has become a huge impact and is still today being fought in many other cases across the country. So it is definitely one of the most controversial and impactful Supreme Court cases to ever come about in today's age.